These past couple of days and more to come. So what can we expect from today's hearing and a plea deal a little later this week?
Let's bring in Ron Geffner, former SEC enforcement agent and now partner at Sadis Goldberg. And we also have attorney Ron Stone, a consultant to law firm Kirby McInerney. All right, Counselor Geffner, let's begin with you. What do you think of what's going on today? This is so unique. How do you think he'll be charged?
Well, first of all, with regard to today, I anticipate that the conflicts won't serve any issue and that he's going to waive them. And I think that the prosecutors are doing the right thing by trying to remove any potential roadblock later on to any plea he may enter on Thursday.
Meaning because he could get sneaky, plea, and then turn around and say, wait a minute, you know, I had a conflict, by the way, and then that would then overturn it.
Correct. It would provide one alternative potential appeal for him.
Rick Stone, of all of the various charges that are being speculated about, and the Wall Street Journal has pretty good information about this: securities fraud, wire fraud, mail fraud, money laundering intrigued me. What kind of money laundering charge would be placed against Mr. Madoff?
It's not clear to me that that's going to be a main focus. I mean, it's possible that he took money and didn't do the proper reporting for it from offshore parties, and that could be money laundering under the new statute. I don't think it's the main focus of what's going to come down on the information, the final information.
All right. Well, all of the charges,
wire fraud.
All of the charges together, what is Madoff looking at in terms of a sentence?
I would guesstimate, and this is a guesstimate, a minimum of 20 years.
Ron, what do you think?
15 to 30 is the range. I'm hoping 30, but I'm not expecting to see it either.
Rick, you've tried and won Ponzi cases before, actually recovering a significant amount of money, more than $100 million in one case. What do you think are the opportunities here to recover money from Bernie Madoff? He didn't make a single trade yet. So far, we're only looking at about $1 billion that's been located.
Right. The billion is going to come back to investors pro rata through the trustees' efforts. And then there's a multiple layers of lawsuits against the fund of funds, against other advisors who advise people improperly perhaps to put their money in here. But none of these are slam dunks. These are going to be tough cases that are going to be fought out over many years. Some of these fund of funds will probably file for bankruptcy, and there'll be a difficult time recovering there. There's no clear path to recovery other than the pro rata share of the billion and the SIPC 500,000.
Ron, before we pass over too quickly what's going to happen today, it's kind of interesting. Let's just go over some of the territory, because Ike Sorkin, Ira Sorkin, known as Ike, has some interesting conflicts of interest, potentially, with Mr. Madoff. Sorkin's parents invested $900,000 with Madoff's firm. That investment was transferred into trust accounts for his children. He also has invested some of his own money with Madoff, and yet originally he had denied investing any money with Madoff. Couldn't there be a potential roadblock here today? Not
if Madoff, with knowledge, waives these conflicts and recognizes that they serve no issue to him receiving a proper defense. And so it's wonderful, actually, that they're having a separate hearing to focus on this. So a year from now, we don't hear the tales of woe that he did not know what he was waiving and he didn't understand it.
Interesting.
Rick, tell me now where you think it might go as far as the question of who helped him pull this off goes. Do you think he'll start to sing, or will he protect people who may or may not be relatives in this case?
Apart from the relatives, I don't think he's going to protect anyone. He's going to be allocuted. He's going to be required to make an explanation in front of the judge, honest and truthful, full and disclosive, of what went on. And I think that he's going to disclose the scheme, which, as is now clear from reports, is that they phonied up monthly statements and confirmations based upon an expected monthly return of 80 or 90 or 100 basis points per month. And those were phony documents based upon trades that didn't take place. And I think he's going to name the people who assisted him in that. We already have some information as to who some of those employees were. But the key to getting money back for clients is to find third parties outside of that Madoff organization who helped participate in that. And that we just don't know yet. And I'm hoping that in his allocution or in connection with the government's investigation, they'll find who those people were.
Yeah. Rick, I got to ask you, you're in close touch with so many of the victims of Madoff. 25 of those victims have made requests to speak in court as Madoff faces the court itself. Do you think that request will be accepted or denied?
I think some of them, I don't know if 25 will be allowed to speak, but some of them will be allowed to speak. That's part of criminal sentencing in the regular course. The judge will make a determination as to how many and how long that goes on for. It's somewhat therapeutic for those people. It can be informative for the court, although I think here the court will have an ample record on which to sentence.
We've got 10 seconds here. What about your clients?
I don't think they're going to get any access to court. We're in the process of looking at filing a complaint against some of the third parties that Ron had mentioned. There were also other service providers that were in the process of being sued, accounting firms, but historically, everything I've seen, those cases, for the most part, have always been dismissed.
Yeah, we got to focus on the victims. It's not all about Bernie Madoff, folks. Thank you very much, Rick and Ron. Appreciate it. Well,